Hello! The most recent garden unit for us focused on leaves. Since it's fall, there are leaves everywhere. There are leaves all over the ground. The leaves are changing color, and it's a fun time to talk about why this season is important in the gardening world and in the life of plants. So, when we look out the window, we can see leaves that have changed color, or maybe leaves that are losing half their leaves, all their leaves. Okay, and there are plenty of leaves on the ground. And we need to understand why that is, right? Why all of a sudden do the trees change color? Why do the leaves fall to the ground? Do the leaves not want them anymore? Are they going to get them back? For the older kids, we've usually talked about the process of photosynthesis and what exactly leaves do, right? I've had some kids that always say leaves are like clothes. They help dress the plant. And yes, that is true. They can add some fun style to that tree or that plant, okay? But a leaf's main purpose is to make food for that plant. And they do that with the sunlight, with a process called photosynthesis. And when the winter months come, there's less light, there's less sunlight, and it's colder. And so the leaves are not making as much food. And so what happens is the tree or the plant says, I don't need this leaf anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and let it drop to the ground. And then in spring, once there's more sunlight and once the plant knows that it can start making a lot of food again and grow, it's going to grow those leaves back. You can tell this leaf, I've been using it for the past 2 weeks. It's a tired leaf. Okay. But that's what fall does, is the fall season is a time when we start getting less light, it gets colder, right? And so those leaves go ahead and fall off the tree because the tree is kind of going into more of a dormant state. It's not growing a ton, it's just going to make it through the winter, and then in spring it'll start again. So as you're out and about, you can go on different leaf hunts. This is like different leaves from my yard. Again, it's starting to look a little sad. It's 2 weeks old now and I've been using it all week. But you can find different colored leaves, different sized leaves. Okay, there are leaves everywhere. Some leaves are evergreen, which means like if you have maybe a rhododendron or something else, it might not lose all of its leaves. Right, and that's fine. That's what that plant is going to do. But like this is from a hydrangea bush. My hydrangea loses all of its leaves. It's still got a few. I can see it from here, but it's definitely losing them. And you can see it's changing color as well, from kind of a green to more of a reddish state. So in this lesson, there are a couple different things you're going to need. For the older kids, you are going to get an up close look at leaves, right? And so this is where that magnifying glass is going to come in very handy. You can get a really great up close look at your leaf. For the older kids, you're also going to have the leaf hunt and shape ID sheet that we're going to work on. For the younger kids in grades K through 2, you're going to go ahead and get the All About My Leaf sheet out, okay, which has a big circle on it. And then all grades got the leaf rubbing sheet, because this is a favorite of everybody in the garden room, is to do some leaf rubbing. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to get a nice look at our skeleton leaves. And this is in your garden kit. This is a leaf basically that has had most of the plant cells taken off of it, whether it's through sitting in water for a long time and then having the little animals like decomposers, say like a pill bug or an earwig, they come and eat those plant cells off of it. Okay, I went ahead and I purchased these, but sometimes you find these in nature too, at the very bottom of your leaf pile. They might be sitting there. And what I love about skeleton leaves is if you look closely at them, you're going to see all these little, I'll take that paper away, all these little veins that crisscross. Okay, it almost looks like lace, very intricate weaving. This middle section here is called the midrib, and then all these are the veins. And why these are great is because these prove, right, the one thing that we already know is that plants are living things just like animals. We are an animal, so we have veins. If you get an up-close look at your wrists, you can see the blue crisscrossing. Okay, those are your veins in your body. Okay, even sometimes in your hands, you might be able to see some of the veins in there. And this is one thing that helps us classify plants as a living thing. They are moving all that food that the leaf is making, all the nutrients back and forth. Okay, so with your magnifying glass, you can get a really good close-up look at the different structures of your leaf. Remember, you're not going to hold the magnifying glass right up to your eye. That's not how we use it. We kind of take it and we move it a little bit closer, a little bit further away until it comes into focus. Okay, and you're really going to get a great view of all little crisscrosses back and forth of your network in that leaf. Okay, so go ahead and do that now. Get a close-up look of your skeleton leaf. All right, for the older kids, you can go ahead and sketch, okay, your vein structure right here of your leaf. Okay, get a close-up look and go ahead and sketch that. And then we're going to move on to our leaf hunt. You're all about your leaf and your leaf rubbings. All right. Okay, for grades K through 2, you have an All About My Leaf sheet. And so we're going to walk through that together right now. So if you've gone outside and found a leaf and picked it up off the ground, you can bring it in, make sure it's nice and dry. But we are going to fill out this sheet that is all about your leaf. So it says, this is my leaf. It's got a circle, so you can just put it in your circle right here. And then it says, the size of my leaf is. And so it's either going to be small, it's going to be medium, or it's going to be large. And this is kind of a relative thing, right? If you have a leaf that maybe touches the outside of the dots, I would say this might be a medium or a large leaf, okay? If you have a leaf more like this is a strawberry leaf that I found, okay, it might be on the small side. And maybe some of you found an even smaller leaf. Like this is my sheet of leaves that I found out in the yard. Maybe it's like this little birch leaf or this little lavender leaf, and it's very, very small. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and use your best guess to figure out what size your leaf is. And then you're going to go ahead and take your crayon or your pen or your pencil, and you're going to circle it. So if I am doing this, maybe I'm going to go back and do this maple leaf. This might be more medium to large. So if you want, you can circle 2, right? If you think it's medium large, right? Okay, it's between those 2. Or maybe it's just medium. Feel free to circle that. All right, then next up it says the color of my leaf is, and you're going to color the correct circle, right? So this first one says red. So if you have a red leaf, like this is definitely a red leaf to me, I'm going to go ahead and color my circle red. Now, if you found more than one leaf, you can go ahead and color more circles. And here you might notice I forgot a leaf color too. I forgot to write on here yellow. So if you have a yellow or an orange, okay, you can go ahead and color it in. So maybe I found a yellowish orange leaf. Okay, so once you find it, you can go ahead and color your circle in. It's almost like bingo. Okay, yellow, orange. Next up in this third circle with the B, it says brown. So if you found a brown leaf, like maybe an oak leaf, something different, you're going to go ahead and you're going to color the brown circle in. Okay, and then this last one is green. So if you're like me and you found a green leaf, like the strawberry leaf, okay, you're going to go ahead and you're going to color this green circle in. Perfect. And then down at the bottom, right next to this is like a monstera leaf, which is a big tropical leaf. You're going to go ahead and you're going to use your trace letters and you're going to write the word leaf, which starts with an L. And if you want to use different colored crayons, sometimes that's fun too. A, F, A, L, E, A. I got ahead of myself. And then an F. Okay, and you've spelled the word leaf. Then if you want, you can put your name up top. My name is Miss Alden, so I'm going to write it up there. Okay, and now this is your leaf sheet that you've filled out. One thing you can do, we're going to go over leaf rubbings in a little bit, but one thing you can do that's also fun is you can either tape your leaf down here, or if you want, you can do a rubbing. Okay, and a rubbing is just, you're going to put the leaf under your paper with the bumpy side up. This side's a little bumpier. You can see those veins that we talked about. Those are going to be sticking up towards the ceiling, and you're going to put your paper over the leaf. Okay, you can kind of see it there underneath my paper. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your crayon and you're going to go back and forth. And what happens is that crayon is going to pick up on the edges of the leaf and the midrib of the leaf and the veins of that leaf. okay, and give you a really pretty outline of your leaf. And now, even if your leaf eventually crumbles, you've still got a record of your leaf. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get an up-close look at leaves. So if you have this worksheet, you can go ahead and get it out, and you can get out your skeleton leaf with it. And to get a really up-close look at our leaf, we can go ahead and also use our magnifying glass that's in your garden kit. The magnifying glass has two different magnification levels. There's one in this small circle and a different one here. So you're going to see which one maybe has the larger magnification for you. All right, so as we look at our skeleton leaf, there is informative text on this sheet to tell you the different parts of our leaf. So we are going to get to label this leaf with the correct parts. And no matter what leaf you're looking at, most of them are going to be the same. Have the same parts, have the same terms associated with it. All right, so the top of the leaf, okay, is also known as the apex. If you've heard of like an apex predator, if we love Tyrannosaurus rex, chances are you've heard of apex predator before. That means it's the top of the food chain. There's nothing else that's going to eat it. All right, but for leaves, the apex is the top. So you're going to go ahead and draw a line. And then you're going to write the word apex, because apex is that top of the leaf right here. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to label the margins. Okay. And a lot of these words, you can kind of make inferences or hypothesize what they might be because of other things that are named similarly. So the margin is the edge, right? So some leaves might have, this has a very smooth edge. Some leaves like this birch leaf that I found, okay, it has definitely kind of a more jagged edge to it, like this hydrangea as well. It's almost like little mountain slopes, okay? So the margin is the side of the leaf. Just like the margin of your paper is the sides of your paper, right? The margins. And then all these back and forths in your leaf, okay, those are the veins, just like you and I have veins. Okay, all living things have veins. If you look in your wrist, you're going to see the blue lines. Those are our veins, right? Plants are living things just like we are. So they have veins that help transport the food and nutrients throughout the plant. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write. You can kind of draw on your skeleton leaf if you want, okay, and do a line. Those are veins. The midrib is this big center vein pretty much in the middle. And this helps give structure to the plant. Okay, and it makes it so that it protects it against wind. It makes it so it's not floppy. Okay, it would kind of always be hanging over if it didn't have that midrib. So the midrib helps give it structure, okay, and transport stuff. You can do a line to that middle of your skeleton leaf right there, and you're going to write midrib, M-I-D-R-I-B, midrib. And then at the very bottom of the leaf, okay, and mine's splitting a little bit. It's been used. Okay, is the petiole. And this is where it's attached to that branch and the rest of the plant. Okay, so the petiole. And sometimes it might have a very long petiole for some plants, and some other plants it might be non-existent. This is like a nasturtium. Okay, you can see the maple has a very long petiole. Okay, whereas the hydrangea really doesn't. It attaches to the stem right there. There's no real gap between the leaf and then where it attaches to the stem. This is a rhododendron that you can see kind of the same thing. It has a medium-sized petiole. Ivy, it has a very long one. All right, so it's going to vary from plant to plant. So once you have this all labeled, okay, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get an up-close look at your leaf. Go ahead and look at the different veins. All right, what you'll notice is that there are some big ones, but then in between each one is just a phenomenal network of other veins connecting to one another. All right, and so what you're going to do is you're going to draw a magnified detail of your skeleton leaf, focusing on the veins and margin in particular, right? So the margin, what is the margin? It's that outside part of the leaf. And then you can just sketch the leaf of how you see it through that magnifying glass. Okay, and so chances are, if you're doing your skeleton leaf, okay, it's going to be like this. But then again, you're going to see all these little teeny ones in between here. And that's what I really want you to focus on, is that there are big ones and there are small ones kind of connecting. All right, and so once you have that, you're going to go ahead and be done with that exercise. You've learned a lot about the parts of the leaf. You can probably describe it pretty well, right? Is the apex pointed or round? Are the margins smooth or jagged? The veins of the plant, right? That's what helps us understand that it is a living thing. That midrib, okay, in some plants, it's a very pronounced midrib. Like if you have a fiddle leaf fig, it's going to have a huge midrib to it because they're big leaves it has to hold up. Okay, and then that petiole at the very bottom, and that's where it connects to the branch or stem. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and move on to the next activity.